All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Spontaneous Combustion 1990. Giving this one 5 out of 5 stars. I love this flick. It's one of those so bad that it's good type movies. This is going to be another recommendation from the director of Poltergeist, The Cleanest Kill on Earth, Spontaneous Combustion. What a cool looking poster. I love it. We love Brad Dourif on this channel. Such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You're such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful butterfly. Spontaneous Combustion is a 1990 U.S. science fiction horror film directed by Tobe Hooper. It was written by Tobe Hooper and Howard Goldberg, based on a story by Hooper. And it is a co-production between Henry Bushkin, Sanford Hampton, Gerald W. Lambert, Jim Rogers, and Arthur M. Saskizian. It was nominated for the best film in the 1991 Fantasporto International Fantasy Film Awards. Sam learns that his parents were part of an atomic bomb experiment. As an adult, Sam discovers he has the power of pyrokinesis. Is this a Scanners ripoff? But instead of blowing people's heads up, they just set them on fire. He is able to control fire and electricity, but with terrible consequences to his body afterwards. Yeah, he's got a pretty swollen eye towards the end. Spontaneous Combustion was produced by Henry Bush, a former manager and partner of Johnny Carson. Spin magazine, while writing, "No one makes bad movies as deliriously entertaining as Tobe Hooper." Yeah, no kidding. Didn't Tobe Hooper also do Eaten Alive? Tobe Hooper. Eaten Alive, 1976. That's another great flick. We love Tobe Hooper on this channel. Eaten Alive with the great Neville Brand. Oh, wow. We love Eaten Alive on this channel. Tobe Hooper's career continues its spectacular downward slide with Spontaneous Combustion. Gave the film Spin magazine gave the film an overall favorable review. John Kenneth Muir, in his book Horror Films of the 1980s, wrote, "Spontaneous Combustion commences on a high note of creativity and wit, but then promptly goes down in flames." I think Brad Dourif said the same thing. He said the movie was doing well until flames started going all over the place. Actually, that was the highlight of the film right there. I would say, in my opinion, skip the first 30 minutes of this movie and just watch the last hour, because the buildup was worth it. Writing for DVD Talk, critic Kurt Dowkey described the film as a weird bit of burn injury pornography, so to speak, that otherwise comes off as an oddball cable TV drama, noting a lack of attachment to the characters, little in the way of dynamic tension, a needless and off-putting cameo by director John Landis, who gets burned to death. Spontaneous Combustion is, to put it mildly, painfully stupid. Not painfully stupid. There's a lot of unintentional humor in this, similar to Eaten Alive, where critic Lauren Hayes wrote in movie review site Real Reviews that the film's story is all Hooper. So too are the faults in the film. And Lauren Hayes noted that Dourif's performance was unhinged, and watching Dourif completely spiral out of control as he flexes power over electricity is one enjoyment of the film. Definitely, most definitely. We like it when Brad Dourif, Vincent Price, Neville Brand, we like it when they ham it up for the camera. We love it. Writing in RogerEbert.com's Simon Abrams described Dourif's performance as unhinged in a way that makes this otherwise stillborn 1990 post-atomic age creature feature fitfully compelling. It sure is. By Adrian. Wow. This movie blew me away. And there's absolutely nobody in the chat room tonight. I think Karate Man wants me to add another Liam. He wants me to add another, what do you call it? This guy gets on a kick. He picks a favorite actor. Doesn't matter whether it's good or bad movie. And he just picks out the ones that he's seen. And then I'm supposed to watch it. I tell him stuff that he should see, and not interested. Okay. Retribution 2023 with Liam Neeson. This is the third Liam Neeson recommendation that he's done in the past month or so. So once he gets on this kick with this one actor, then my list is just one actor. Like right now, it's Sylvester Stallone. I'm trying to get out of this Sylvester Stallone section of my queue, but I've still got the Specialist Assassins. Not sure what Sea of Love is. Silent Rage, Forced Vengeance, and the Delta Force. I'm guessing the next two are Stallone. And then Sea of Love. Sea of Love is Al Pacino. So I've got two more Stallone, and then it's a mishmash of Karate Man recommendations. Finally, I can get back to normal. None of this, oh, here's my favorite actor. You got to watch all the movies that I watch. Not that I don't want to torture myself, but this Stallone 90s stuff really stinks. And I've got Judge Dredd and Oscar to go through farther down on my list. I couldn't add them initially because they weren't on Netflix DVD or YouTube probably. Or maybe Karate Man took forever to recommend those two. Sea of Love. That looks interesting. Al Pacino. I might be able to give Karate Man my sincerest thanks if I end up liking one of his recommendations in a few weeks. I know I'm not going to like the next two The Specialist and the Assassins. But anyways, Spontaneous Combustion, 1989, rated R, 1 hour 37 minutes. It gets a somewhat low rating of a 4.9 out of 10, 3,200 ratings. A young man finds out that his parents have been used in an atomic weapons experiment shortly before he was born, and that the results have had unexpected effects on him. Yeah, I guess you could say that. That's understatement. Oh, I forgot to put John Landis in the description. What's wrong with me? John Landis. We got to give John Landis acting credit here. Come on. Come on. All right. He's on there. I fixed it. Okay, here we go. More like this. Invaders from Mars. The Toolbox Murders. The Outcasts of Poker Flat. And Sin of Nora Morgan. The Sin of Nora Morgan. The Outcasts of Poker Flat and Toolbox Murders. And Invaders from Mars. I think I've already seen Invaders from Mars, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But I'll look that one up too, just in case. In a promotional Fangoria interview for Exorcist 3, Brad Dourif, another great flick, Brad Dourif mentioned how disappointed he was with the final version of this film and how a very interesting, promising movie was ruined by studio interference and producers during production. You see me playing my heart out in scenes that are not working. And the reason why they're not working is that the movie doesn't make sense. It's almost funny. It is funny. As a matter of fact, the better my acting was in some of the later scenes, the funnier the film was. That's what we're talking about here. The unintentional humor of this so bad that it's good type movie. I found myself at the mercy of people who didn't know what they were doing. We like it when people don't know what they're doing in film production. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but my feeling is the producers destroyed it. Tobe could have made 3 different movies with material he had, and each one would have worked. But by the time he got it, it had changed from a love story to a suspense thriller about my character's paranoid fantasy to a guy goes crazy film about this insane killer who becomes a destructive force that's going to wipe out mankind. He went back and kind of reconstructed it as a love story, but it really didn't help. The beginning of the film was great, and a certain portion of my stuff was fine, but then it became stupid when all the flame stuff started happening. This is where we disagree. When he says stupid, he means so bad that it's good. That's what he's talking about. The position of the syringe stuck in Lisa changes. Featured in Cinemassacre's Monster Madness, Spontaneous Combustion, 2009. Soundtracks, I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire, written by Eddie Durham. Eddie Sealer, Sol Marcus, and Benny Benjamin, performed by the Ink Spots, courtesy of MCA Records. Here's a less flattering review on IMDb. We try to give both sides here on this channel. This is a review from Tom Gillespie, 2002, dated May 20th, 2011 on IMDb. Poor film, but Brad Dourif is always worth a watch. Nevada Desert, 1955. Peggy and Brian Bell are being experimented on by the Army to test the effects of exposure to atomic energy whilst testing a nuclear bomb. The test seems to go well, and the Bells are located in a picturesque suburbia with white picket fence. However, after giving birth to their son, the couple suddenly spontaneously combusted, a clear effect of the nuclear fallout. The baby boy survives them, and he grows up to be Sam, played by the great Brad Dourif, who's an atheist, by the way. If you see the documentary, Werner Herzog documentary, so we flash forward to the present day, where Sam's freakish ability to combust becomes increasingly dangerous to both himself and others around him. In one scene with the cameo from John Landis, Sam has called into a radio psychic DJ who has now gone off the air, and he gets through to Landis' radio technician who refuses to pass him on to the DJ. Dr. Persons, played by Joe Mays. This increases Sam's anger, which, as we have seen previously, makes Sam burnier. And he projects fire through the phone in a pseudo-telekinetic flash, which results in fire streaming from the kneecaps of poor Landis. Sam's main goal is to find out about his parents and to determine why these phenomena keep occurring. Tobe Hooper has not had it easy since the release of exceptionally brilliant debut, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. All of his subsequent films have either fallen foul of studio intervention. Death Trap, 1977. The Funhouse, another great flick. The Funhouse, 1981. Executive producer Steven Spielberg's ultimately overbearing on-set presence of Poltergeist, 1982, or just poorly conceived ideas, Life Force, 1985, Invaders from Mars, 1986, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 1986. He seems only in the latter part of the 80s produced Stephen King-like projects, either directly adapting a King novel, Salem's Lot, 1979 TV miniseries, another great Tobe Hooper television credit, or lifting pseudo-King story devices, much like spontaneous combustion. The use of fire as a telekinetic ability had been previously explored in King's Firestarter. Okay, so this is a ripoff on Firestarter. Not necessarily Scanners. This is not a great film. The production values are akin to the TV movies series that were being broadcast at this time. This was seen throughout the genre in the early years of the decade. This period is almost a vacuum of popular visual culture, with the exception of one horror, the TV series Twin Peaks, 1990 to 1991. The camera movements and compositions are standard television production. I disagree. They're using blue filter in this one. I thought I was watching Suspiria for a minute. Aside from the lack of visual flair, there's one element that never really fails to please. That is, of course, Brad Dourif. I kind of agree with that, actually. Brad Dourif is a reason to watch. He is way over the top, hamming it up for the camera. You name it. I find everything that Dourif is in to be thoroughly fun to watch, even as in this performance when he is wildly over the top, his eyes intense, and his vociferousness projected directly into your brain, sharp and direct. No one does sweaty anger like Dourif does. That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way until now. Sweaty anger. So, in conclusion, a poop film, but it's totally be forgiven because Brad Dourif is in it. And Tom Gillespie, 2002, has a blog. It's at www.thewrathofblog.blogspot.com. So there you have it. The second alternate review. Now let's go down the list. This one, Spontaneous Combustion, is highly recommended. It's a must-see. The production values and Brad Dourif and the ridiculous looking fire, the unintentional humor, so to speak, it's just incredible, unbelievable. This movie is awesome. All right, The Specialist is on the top of my list now. 1994, another Karate Man recommendation. Then I've got To Catch a Thief, 1955, and The Dick Tracy Show, 1961, which might have been, I want to say that's a Professor Quiz recommendation. Yeah, I'll see it in my review this weekend when I get around to it. So I'll get to The Specialist on Friday night, and Saturday I'll watch To Catch a Thief and The Dick Tracy Show. Hopefully I'll start getting out of this annoying mid-90s Stallone section. I'm starting to get irritated. Okay, Cliffhanger and Demolition Man were okay. But the other movies, man, torture. I'm going to torture myself on Friday night. Laters.